Not many games get you pumped right from the start, but this one definitely does. Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time, one of the best beat-em-ups there is. The plot's simple enough. You beat up enough of Shredder's foot soldiers, and then when you reach the Technodrome... Ay Dios mío! Esas Tortugas están en apuro! As the title suggests, you're sent through time and space to fight whatever villain Shredder can throw at you. But since this is a Super Nintendo beat-em-up, the plot's not too intrinsic, so what about the gameplay? How does that hold up? Well, you can play this game one of two ways. As an excited kid who can play as his turtle for the first time, oh my god, I get to play as Donatello, this is the best moment of my life. Or, you could pick a turtle based on their own strengths and weaknesses. Por ejemplo, Raphael can finish fights really quick, but he's got to get in very close to do so. But while Raphael takes enemies out quickly, a good 4 solid hits on him will probably take him down just as fast. So be careful. Michelangelo here is a little slower than Raphael, but his range is about the same, and his offense is a little higher. However, the big advantage to Michelangelo over Raphael is that he can take way more hits than Raph ever could, so you can expect to keep him around a little bit longer. Donatello's advantage is that he has a lot of range on his bow staff. His disadvantage is that he's the slowest. On your mark, get set, go! See, Raphael's clearing him by quite a bit of distance, and yes, I am playing as both, so I'm not tricking him. Though I should say, Donatello is above average in offense and defense, so he's pretty good for beginners. Leonardo is pretty much average in all aspects, range, offense, and defense. If you can't decide, he's probably your pick. However, using Leonardo lends itself to disappointment, because you can't decapitate Shredder like you could in the first issue of the comic book, so this is clearly an error on Konami's part. I even tried with the comic book graphics mode on, and it still didn't work. It appears that Konami never read the source material. Pathetic. But it doesn't really matter which turtle you select, because whichever one you use, the controls are still awesome. Press B to jump, Y to attack, and B and Y together to do a special attack, which drains a little bit of health, but kills just about anything it touches. There. Also, if you charge into an enemy and then hit him again, you get to throw him in the freaking screen. But fighting the foot soldiers is made more fun by the atmosphere, provided mostly by the great soundtrack, which I've been laying underneath for you. Imagine if some no-talent hack was composing instead. Oh, that's fantastic, isn't it? No, let's try this with the real music. Let's see how it sounds. That's what I like to hear. And give this soundtrack a check out if you haven't before. Totally worth space on your iPod. Now, as most of us know, Turtles in Time came from an arcade game, aptly titled Turtles in Time. This is the Neon Knight Rider stage, and my main point is this. It looks nice enough, it's pretty much sewer surfing, but in a futuristic atmosphere. But I want to compare with the Super Nintendo footage. This Neon Knight Riders feels a lot more visually interesting to me. And I know that this is just my opinion, but I honestly believe this is a general point. Super Nintendo's version is a lot better than the arcade version. All you really lost from the arcade to the Super Nintendo were a few voice clips, but this just stands together better overall. Now, how often did that happen? A superior port to an arcade version? Hardly ever. I know that this game is very popular and is pretty much well-traveled ground, but that doesn't change the fact that it means something to me. It was a really fun game, and it still is, nearly 20 years later. And honestly, I think that everyone should try it out again. Or hey, if you've never played it before, try it for the first time. But thank you very much for listening to me, everybody. I appreciate your time, and I hope you've enjoyed. Cowabunga to you and yours.